Well, Stellantis and Ample have just announced their new battery swapping partnership that is set to roll out in Europe in the coming year. According to Global Market Insights, the battery swapping market is set to expand, valued at around 15 billion US dollars in 2032. But battery swapping still has a lot of ground to cover to catch up with charging stations. Let's bring in Ample co-founder John de Souza to discuss competing in the EV space. Welcome to the show. So, for people who aren't familiar with the battery swapping technology, I know that it's quite prevalent in China and also as we're starting to see it in Europe, but what are we seeing in the US at the moment?
Well, battery swapping, just from the way it works, is similar to a gas station for electric cars. You drive in, you spend 5 minutes, the empty batteries are taken out and new batteries are put in. So it's a very quick, simple experience. So from an experience perspective, it's something that people are very familiar with. There's a lot of it happening in China. As you say, they deliver a tremendous amount of their energy through battery swapping. Right now, we in the US and in Europe, we're the forefront in terms of going through and doing it. There have been attempts at doing it, but I think what we've really done that differentiates this is the ability to work with different size vehicles. It can be small city cars, big delivery trucks, as well as a full range of different types of vehicles without asking the partner, Stellantis, to make any changes to the vehicle.
So talk about that, because some people have been wondering, depending on the type of battery you have, the type of vehicle that you have, in terms of wide-scale adoption for something like this. So why start with Stellantis, and what tone might that set as you look at perhaps other vehicles and partners to partner with?
Stellantis fits really well for a few things. One is they have an incredible range of electric vehicles. They go all the way from city cars, delivery vans, delivery trucks. So they cover the range of what customers want. The second is they have a global footprint. The move to electric is in Europe, US, Asia, across all of it. And last is you want a partner that has a lot of experience working with electric, and they've been working electric for a long time. So we're going with them. We're starting off with a car I love, the Fiat 500e. It's a beautiful car, and it's a city car. A lot of people living in cities don't have access to overnight charging. They don't have garages. They don't have places to park. So it's a great option for them to say, you can go through and drive it, and whenever you need energy, stop for a few minutes. We'll expand that range as we look at different segments, going all the way to from passenger cars to delivery.
And when people think about the costs, obviously at the moment, most people still know either the plug-in that you could do at home, as you mentioned there, but that requires, you have to have a home with a garage or a driveway or something, versus, then having to wait at a public charging station. Talk about the cost, though, of EV charging at a traditional station versus going through the battery swap.
Actually, it's a really good one, because a lot of people tell me, if I have a brand new battery in my car, I don't want to swap it out. But the model is slightly different. You actually don't buy that battery anymore. So you actually buy the car less the cost of the battery. So you're paying less for the battery up front, and then you pay a small monthly battery subscription. So you're not buying this battery. So you drive in, you're paying a battery subscription, and then you pay a cost for the energy similar you do for electricity or for gas. Overall costs, it ends up being very good. You're not taking on the costs of the battery. And so it ends up being very attractive to the customer to switch to this.
And what about infrastructure costs? Because that's not something that we haven't seen a lot of these charging stations, at least compared to what we see with some of these the public charging traditional EV sort of stations there. What sort of costs to meet the sort of needs that you would like? What sort of costs are involved there?
So we actually, similar to a gas station, we provide the stations. So Ample goes through, actually takes on the cost of providing the stations, going through and deploying it. Now, the good news is for us is that we can deploy these stations in 3 days. We need a couple of parking spots and we can go through deploy it. So you can deploy it quickly and cost effectively. So the customer, if it's a fleet, they don't need to go in and purchase it, and we can go deploy it across the city. We looked at a lot of city deployments, and often in cities, it's hard to go through and get a lot of power for a fast charger. So often you find lower power chargers in cities. With this, what you can do is you can keep on charging it, and you can charge it from renewable energy. You have solar, you have other types of renewable. You can keep on charging the batteries in the station, and then when the car comes up, deliver the energy very quickly. You need a super high fast charger to do that, but because you charge it slowly over the day, you can deliver the energy to the vehicle very quickly. So the combination of bringing in renewable and then providing it to transportation makes it very attractive.
And so when you think of adoption here, because a lot of people would prefer a hybrid because they do have that range anxiety, they don't want to be, stuck on the side of the road here. How do you ease that? Because a lot of people see traditional EV charging as the reason they're not going down that route. But where is the competition then? Is it with traditional EV chargers or hybrids? Where do you see it?
So I think there's a very good use case with traditional charging, and it's especially for people who can charge at home and then don't drive that far during the day. It works really well. You never end up going to a charging station or any of it, and you just charge at home. But if you're outside that use case and you don't have access to it at home, or you need to charge it around, this works really well for it because it gives you fast access to energy. And a lot of people talk about range anxiety. I think then people have charging anxiety. What is it that happens when you run out of charge and you don't want a bad experience? You don't want to spend a tremendous of time. So if you go through and make that experience simple, then I think you would take away the major barrier that people have to owning an EV, which is if I run out of charge, what am I going to do? And so our goal is when you go into a city, deploy stations across the city so people have easy access, and then you take away that anxiety that they have.
I'll certainly be keeping an eye on that rollout. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Ample co-founder John de Souza, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.